And now, the best 60-ish seconds of your week. Hope you're all enjoying Independence Day weekend and having an opportunity to focus for just a second on our independence and the freedoms and liberty that derive from it, and remembering that eternal vigilance is the price of that freedom. So before you like and share today's program, which we ask you to do, stay tuned at the end, because we've got, just because it's summertime, a couple of outtakes for you. Now, we tell you each week that this is unedited, unscripted, and I don't do it off a teleprompter. That's proof, because although it's unedited, every once in a while, we don't do it on the first take. Generally we do, and the proof of that is in the fact that if you look at that, you'll see I'm wearing the same suit for most of them. So some days I just don't have it all together. This week, though, the world lost and America lost an iconic business leader. Lee Iacocca passed away at 94 years of age from Parkinson's disease. A Pennsylvania boy, born in Allentown, graduated from Lehigh University and came back to Philadelphia to begin his career, then went to Chester, Pennsylvania before moving on to Detroit. The only man in history to be the CEO of two of the big three automakers in this country, and probably in his time the best known of any of them. I was privileged to work with Lee Iacocca on the Ellis Island Statue of Liberty project. He was appointed to that role by President Reagan, and his family, of course, came through Ellis Island. I didn't, although I was very close. It was closed down before I immigrated to America, but I did come through the waters of New York Harbor into this country, so it was always a very special place for me, and I had the opportunity to play one small role in the work that Lee Iacocca did there. He never really got into politics, although it was suggested that he could be president of the United States. The closest he ever really came was to being a United States senator from Pennsylvania, because former Governor Bob Casey tried to talk him into taking an appointment to the seat, which was vacated on the untimely death of H. John Hines. A little footnote for you. Of course, Iacocca was famous for his dust-ups with Henry Ford, and a man that took Ford Motor Company from the Mustang, talk about iconic, to the Ford Pinto, had a few differences of opinion from time to time. And my favorite Lee Iacocca story will always be the time that Henry Ford, when he was having a disagreement with Lee, said, "Lee, do us both a favor. Walk downstairs, take your fat ass across the street, turn around, look at the building, and see whose name is on it." The golden rule of business has always been that them with the gold makes the rules. That certainly was proof of it. And since it's summertime, we promised summer reading lists. So very quickly, here are some that would be well worth your while. First, 7 Events That Made America, America by Larry Schweikert, who is fast becoming one of the most popular historians in this country. This is a book, especially on Independence Day weekend, that really will connect with you and have additional reason for all of us to celebrate American exceptionalism. This boils away all the nonsense that's out there right now about the early days of our republic, tells the real story of America, and why, as the subtitle says, proved that the founding fathers were right all along. Second, Why People Fail, 16 Obstacles to Success and How to Overcome Them by Simon Reynolds. This is really a book about success, guised as a book about failure, because anybody that knows much about successful people know that they've suffered a few failures along the way. This is one that I hesitate to put out there as summer reading material, because this is a dirty little secret. The Political Speechwriter's Companion, a guide for writers and speakers by Robert Lehrman. The best book on political speech writing on the planet, and an insider's guide on how to. It's a real how-to-do book. And so we're giving away a lot of the company secrets, but if you're interested in presidential speech writing, political speech writing of any sort, or even corporate speech writing, this is one that'll keep a lot of my friends out of work. Next is Elements of Influence, The Art of Getting Others to Follow Your Lead by Terry Bacon. The title speaks for itself. It's worth a quick read. And The Residence, Inside the Private World of the White House. For those who really like to know what's going on inside the building, this book by Kate Anderson Brower, who was both with CBS and with Fox News, gives you a real insider's view, and most of the national pundits line up to say it's a great read. Who am I to argue? Finally, or next to finally, as these books fall off the table here, The Big Happen. I mentioned this before. It was a gift from the author. I finally had a chance to read it. How to Live, Work, and Give Big. It's worth a read, from Forbes Books by Mark Moses. And I conclude with the penultimate. Bare Knuckles and Backrooms by our partner, friend, my former boss, and constant idol, Ed Rollins. If you haven't read it, you can't lose. It's the best, by the best. And for now, that is the best 60-ish seconds of your week. But please stay tuned for more. Been asked by several folks to put less emphasis on one. We're not off to a flying start. James Aducci did, picking up $1.275 million on an $85,000 bet on Tiger wins to wood it all. We're going to just not be able.
Tiger wins to wood it all.
We're not going to be able to get away with that. Recognizing Jerusalem as the capital, recognizing Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights, and designating the Islamic National. I promised a lot of you that I'll spend more hundreds of thousands of dollars poured in to rebuild churches in the American South. That's not a hiccup, that's my voice. And this week, there's something else I wanted to do. A Bob Baffert horse, he's a 7-time winner at Preakness, and let me try that one again. At Preakness. And put that in the outtakes. Yes, this is done without a teleprompter. It's completely extemporaneous, unedited, unrehearsed, and we should start again. We're going to do it this time, and we're done. And finally, it's 1,000 over the course of the past 9 days. And finally, so for now, that is the best 60-ish seconds of your week. We did it.